I'm live. I wanted my music to be playing like this once I came live. I just realized the benefit of having that countdown because it takes a little time for your phone to catch up to the actual live. See? It didn't even do my actual countdown. But there's some new music for you here. You can see from the banner below, we're on day 34 of 90 consecutive days of live streaming. And so let me do my intro. Let me say, hey there, YouTube, slasher chicks and slasher dudes. My name's Alicia, and this is Slasher Chick Thinking, where we like to talk about negotiation strategies and a growth mindset, so you never have to choose between this or that. You can always say yes to this, slash that. And last time I was here, I talked about emotional intelligence, and one of the things that can help you hone your emotional intelligence is being open to receiving feedback. And so some of the feedback I received is I have to get better at this. So let's hope that I'm getting better at this live streaming as we continue this challenge. But as we move forward with 90 consecutive days of live streaming, I have to stop saying the consecutive because I'm trying to do 90 days of live streaming. They may not be consecutive at some point, but for now they are, and we're proud. And we are on day 34, which is 37% complete. And one of the goals I had been looking to do is to have a bit of a theme, right? Like if I were going to go live on a Tuesday, maybe that should be a Tech Tuesday, which is how we got here. Now, Monday, I really want to be Money Moves Monday. It just feels right in my soul. I also don't even know if this is going to be my regular live stream schedule after these 90 days. I'm trying to get there. I'm still playing with the Everything's Negotiable show, and maybe that, I don't know what day of the week is it, midweek? I don't know. But I definitely honed in on the Tech Tuesdays because I love the techie things. All right, let me turn this music down though right now. And so one of the things I realized is that part of why I think I like the gadgets and whatnot is that I had a personal home computer very early on in I guess it was the late 80s. Yeah, let me see. When did home computers become a thing? Personal computers. All right, according to the interwebs, they came out in 1971, but like when they started to be in people's home was 1983. And yeah. So let me see if this tells me how many people had a personal computer around the time. It just felt like we were early adopters for sure. Because I remember teaching myself the Microsoft Suite. My very first thing I remember playing on the computer was definitely Solitaire. So I really do want to know this though. How many homes? Let's say 1988 had personal home computers. Because it feels like maybe not a lot. But maybe it was by then. I don't know. Oh, okay. According to the census use, this is exciting. Oh my goodness, this is so exciting. Okay, this is like my origin story though, okay? Here we go. Computer use in 1989. And at this time, yeah, it would have been the time where I'm like teaching myself how to use these. Households with computers, year purchase. So that's page 9. So let's see these detailed tables here. Computer use at work. Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is what it really comes down to. Okay. Now, you can see household with computers used by presence of children, family income, and age of householder. This is 1989, and I would have been about 9. So my mom's 25. Okay. So 25 to 30, all households would have been 21,000, and all households with one child. Okay. But I would also say we probably were in the family income that was a little lower because my mom was a teen mom. Um, so yeah, we probably would have been here. I don't know, how did these households get? Oh, they're not with computer. That's it. Okay, I can't read the statistics. Let me just zoom in. That's the total number of households. But as you can see, the percentage, right? Like I feel like we would have been maybe in this percentage here, but certainly the head of household here is 25. Like we would just, it was low. Um, so it says 9% of like all households, but then that would have been 184 households, it looks like. It wasn't a lot, is my point. And so I had the benefit of using them early because my mom happened to work at a computer company, and I don't know if she knew at the time that what she was picking was going to be such an important thing in the future, but it turned out to be. And so I say all that to say I have always loved tech gadgets as well as learning software that can make life easier. So my whole life, apparently, well, almost my whole life. And I thought I'd start Tech Tuesdays whenever I'm going to do it with a new tech product, like product of the week or tech tip of the week. I don't know what I'm going to name it, but what we're going to call it today. Wait, I have some notes here. Let me see what the notes say. Okay, yes. I'm going to introduce a new technology tool or software that can aid your personal or professional growth because it's Tech Tuesday, but it's Tech Tuesday that focuses still on a growth mindset and negotiation strategies. Like, how do we make life better and hack a lifestyle that we love? So maybe I'll do like a live demonstration of how to use the tool, highlight some features, tell you how it's particularly beneficial to maybe some other things we normally talk about, and that could be in the form of a short live Q&A session. Who knows? I don't know. But the tech tool of the week this week is going to be, I'm excited to share this one. Hey, Coach Sherry. I am well. I am well. I'm still living the dream, but well, not but, and I need to continue practice saying that. And I have a responsibility I have to finish this evening. So I don't think you've gone live yet. So my intention was, yeah, I got to get my live over with. And then when Coach Sherry goes live, I'll be able to finish working on this ad book that I have to finish tonight. But happy to be here for day 34. And I was sharing my tech tool of the week. That right there was my reminder from my offline accountability buddy telling me to, hey, have you gone live? I didn't see you go live. So let me respond to say I'm currently live and put the do not disturb on. I hope it was insane in a good way, like the bustling busy, that I was in flow most of the day, but where did the time go? Kind of insane. That is my wish for you. But thank you, Coach Sherry. I appreciate that. And yes, yay, today 34, we're at 37% towards the goal. So in today's Tech Tuesday, what I want to share with you is this new tool called Colors or Coolers. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. But I'll show you what I mean. First, I do have a link, so I'll share that with you here in the chat. I will name this is my referral link. So if anybody does use this, it will ultimately lead to a referral. But I think we both benefit from it. Okay, glad. I'm glad it was insanely busy in a good way. And yes, it is only Tuesday, and I find that hard to believe. And it's Mother's Day this weekend, and so my heart will be also going out to those who are mothers or those who don't have their mothers with them this year, like yourself. You fit both of those categories. But I'm going to share this cool tool. This is the tool that I actually used to decide on my new color palette for this Slasher Chick site. Okay, and this is the color palette that I ultimately picked after it gave me a few options. Now I'll acknowledge, prior to this I had looked up some color like psychoanalysis for what were some of the ones that I wanted to use. So then I did give the website some of that information to come up with the palettes that it did. But these were some of the palettes that it gave me that I actually liked, and thought, okay, let me play around with some of them. And it gives you the hex codes for whatever palette that you choose. So you can be able to put these exact hex codes in Canva and then create things that now you can have a consistent brand for the colors. So for your whatever you're doing, your YouTube page, whatever the product is. Now, this is the free version, but if you pay for the upgraded version, let me see. Oh, that's not what I'm trying to show you. You can get like gradients. Oh, here, it'll show. So you can view the variations and get shades, saturation gradients, different temperatures. And so that way you can still be using the same color, but stay on brand. But the free version is more than enough to get you started, right? I haven't even delved into the fonts or the images option. But you know, let's try it here while we're new. So we'll try a new image. Oop, I clicked new font. I didn't mean to do that because I don't know what the fonts do either. But what happens if I do new image? Oh, that's a pro feature. So that we'll have to find out. Yes. So what I did, Coach Sherry, yes, is once I decided, all right, this is the one I'm going to go with for a Slasher Chick, I did put that in my Canva brand section. So I'll go back to this one since it does give you all of your hex codes. Just ooh. Oh, and here's how I can get gradients right here. That's awesome. All right, since it does give you all of your codes, you can use those color palettes in Canva, and I'll open mine up with creating just a new design. And I'm going to make my new design a YouTube thumbnail because I need to make a thumbnail. One thing I would like to do is go back and any of these live streams that I'm going to keep up is like update the thumbnails and make them all cohesive. But I'll use this one that I used from yesterday's live stream. You'll see this is along the color palette that I have. And if I go into the brand section here on the left, and I'm going to have to zoom in for us to see that. You can see my cup. I put the color. Oh, you can't even see it. Hold on. Let me go back to the main section and see if that's where I can tip to the brand. Oh, I know you can't see it because I'm sharing the wrong one. Let me share this tab. Okay. So I didn't make the brand kit yet for this one. Let me see. But I did, but I'll show this here because the one I did have another palette for and I made the brand kit for is for my booktube channel. So I'll show this one as an example. It has the brand oh, this one has my other one in here. It has the brand colors in here for this particular one. But if I scroll down, you'll see this is the color palette for Slasher Chick one. But I haven't taken the next step of picking out the specific fonts and all of those things. I have to take those next steps to do that. But I really like this colors tool as something that can kind of like get you started down the path of branding your content. So that's my tech tip of the day or of this week. And, like you said, colors mean a lot. And, we all did a deep dive when you did your real estate development. The colors in the model homes align with different buyer personalities. That makes a lot of sense. You know, uh, colors definitely can influence behavior, and that's why restaurants choose certain palettes, hospitals, spas, etc. And so when you're thinking about your YouTube channel as ultimately a place and experience and community that you're trying to create, you want to think about, well, what will my colors elicit? And I also had one more tech tip for this week because I needed to correct something that I shared before. So I previously shared the Upbeat tool for music, and I do very much still like it because it's also how I got this new sound here that I very much enjoy. Let's say, let me play this for just a second so you can hear it. It's a nice, it's just a good little vibe, I would love to be able to use this in a vlog. I was very pleased by it. But what I was not pleased with is that in the live streams previously, where I had used another sound music from Upbeat, I'd previously used this one, which was more like a lo-fi hip hop tone. Oop, let me stop that. I have to stop using it because I got a copyright claim for those. Now, it's not a copyright strike. It is a copyright claim in that I failed to use I failed to credit the creator correctly. And so what I learned is that although on the free version for this particular website, Upbeat, you can use them as long as you accredit it. You have to, this is probably the same thing, Coach Sherry, because I found that as an issue with even that other InVideo app I use, is that they have a partnership with YouTube. It should be copyright claim free, but you do still have to attribute it and kind of credit it somewhere in your description, etc. And what I realized I was doing wrong was I thought if I credit it once, I could now use it on my channel across. But what they actually request, if you can see, is it's a credit for every video. And so every time you use it. And so every time I use this, especially if I'm going to use it in a live stream, I have to make sure it's in the live stream description before I even start, so that the artist gets the appropriate credit, and I don't end up with a copyright claim. Now, with a copyright claim, because it's not a copyright strike. I'm not getting in trouble for it, but I just would never be able to monetize this video and keep the revenue. If that were the case, I would have to give it to the copyright owner. And I don't think YouTube prorates that, right? Like I only use the music for about, I think, 10 seconds. But I don't think YouTube would say, hey, you only have to give a tenth of the revenue. Would be nice if they did that, but I don't think so. Now, the first thing I did, because I was trying to figure this out, was I just went ahead and took it out of the stream. Like, and I went to my studio, and where it gives you the option to change it, I just removed it and said, take the music out. Then I don't care. It's a live stream, and that's the whole point of doing these live streams, is to test and try things out and see what happens and how they work. So that I'm not doing things that I shouldn't be doing later. So I learned that, and that is another tech tip for this Tuesday, is if you're using any of those third-party music providers, just double check what the copyright rules are, because it may be that you have to attribute it every single time you use it, not just having a license for your channel and your username. So that was that tip. So that's two tips that I needed to share colors and correct the thing that I had said before. And one, I really like having the music in the lives too. It, helps you kind of create a vibe. Now, one last thing I want to share with you all today is another YouTube negotiation example that I thought might be of interest. Now, let me just make sure I had queued this up to a special place, just so I would be ready to show it if we were to talk about it. And I don't think I have to worry about a copyright claim here, but this is what we're talking about. We're talking about copyright and copyright claim, and how that actually works as far as a negotiation on YouTube, because the channel that I am speaking of is called Abba and Preach, and they have a commentary channel. And so they talk about a lot of things, pop culture, but also things going on in the YouTube streets. And on their commentary channel, they will often react to other content creators. And one channel that they had reacted to frequently was Jubilee. And Jubilee, wait, where did this go? I specifically queued this up. Jubilee will do those kind of like weird challenge videos where they have a bunch of young people come in and be like, you know what? Let me see if I can show it without showing anything that. Oh, okay, good. It says I can switch to this tab. So wherever I had it queued up, it's still queued up. There we go. Okay, so the Jubilee channel, I'm not researching franchises. I am not trying to show your ad either. I don't know about you, but that's another one I get a lot of outreach on YouTube, where people are trying to sell me franchises. Hello, Marlene, and welcome. And not that I would never buy a franchise. Thank you. But I cold outreach on LinkedIn is probably not the way to get me to buy one. I mean, well, for me personally, I'm sure it works elsewhere, because if it didn't, why would they would do it? Okay, so now you've already got a taste of just that audio of like what Jubilee talks about. But this is the example of Jubilee's channel and the kind of things that they show, and you could see easily how this is a thing that people would react to. For example, woman confess their biggest secrets. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, when did they get on Jubilee? I'm sorry. See, this couple, I don't know if you've ever seen
People
them.
think
Oh, this is a bunch of age gap couple. Okay, but this one particular couple, where is Cheryl and her boyfriend? They are all over the interweb. So, okay, this is Cheryl.
Normal, they do. We dance together all.
And this is her boyfriend. Where is he? Right here. That's Cheryl's boyfriend. And I think he's in his like late 20s, and I believe she's in her 60s. We need to start a support group for people who have watched this episode. All right, that comment right there is indicative of what like Abba and Preach's responses would be like in terms of their commentary. They would be thinking like the exact same things you and I probably are, is really what it comes down to. And they would do reactions to it. And previously, Jubilee had said they have no problem with people reacting to their content. However, as of late, they were copyright claiming Abba and Preach's channel to the point of they had so many, not copyright claim, copyright striking, to the point where now Abba and Preach had so many copyright strikes that they were about to be terminated. They had the 3 strikes pending and were potentially going to be terminated. And at the time when I first heard about this, they had already been reaching out to Jubilee to no avail. They weren't getting any response. And part of the reason why this was challenging is because Jubilee had previously gone on record saying they didn't actually have a problem with people reacting to their content. So it was odd that now all of a sudden they were striking channels to the point that they might be demonetized. And Abba and Preach, I'm going to show this one section where he does at least acknowledge the interest of the other channel now that they've come to a resolution. But they have 2.11 million subscribers. They're not a small channel. Now, certainly if small channels were dealing with this kind of copyright strike from what looks like to be a like copyright farm, what will happen is, well, let me let him tell you what happens and how this can happen to some people as far as reaction videos, and then we'll kind of close out what we can learn from this negotiation here, because that's ultimately still what this is a negotiation. When Jubilee issued the copyright strikes, they're saying, hey, this is my copyrighted content, and you shouldn't be able to use it to make money. And Abba and Preacher saying, hey, we are reacting to this under fair use, and so we are changing the content. There is educational or entertainment value added by what we do to the content. We're not just reusing your content and making money off of it. So finally, as they were like in the 11th hour of whether they'd be terminated or not, someone from Jubilee responded, and they did come to a resolution where the strikes were removed, and there was some understanding as to kind of how we got here. So I'll let Abba tell you.
Got an issue with me or how we run our channel, contact me, email me. I promise I'll get back to you really promptly, because at the end of the day, I want to make you guys protected.
Now, from a negotiation standpoint, that was one of their first issues, right? Is like Jubilee could have first reached out to the channel before all of the copyright strikes. But what it turned out was that Jubilee wasn't doing them themselves. They'd hired a company to help them reel in the fact that a lot of people were just recreating their content, just reusing their content, and it just takes a lot for them to produce. You saw that one video. There was like 1 million people in there. So they spend a lot of money on their production.
But that's it. So everything's fine, guys. We're going to go back to our regular programming, and who knows, maybe some brand new stuff that might be exciting.
Okay, that was not the point of what I was trying to show.
Criticisms for me? Y'all see I'm mean? You can tell me why. But yeah, I'm glad this had a good ending. And I want to make YouTube a space that's safe for all the people who create content, for all the people who react, but understand there are a lot of bad actors, and it's tough to navigate. YouTube doesn't always make it easy. So if we can work together, a little bit more direct communications, like I'm a really open person. If you guys got an issue with me or how we run our channel, contact me, email me. I promise I'll get back to you really promptly.
Okay, that wasn't the actual part I wanted to show. The part I wanted to show was what he was saying before about like he understands why they might have to go about this because of what they put into it, and knowing that there are people like hundreds of channels reacting to their content that are just like stealing their content. But there were other ways they could have gone about it that could have been more productive in terms of the dialogue between creators here on the platform. Now, one of the things I thought was really awesome was in the comments, someone gave a recommendation of, yeah, it would be really cool if YouTube had a link option that when you go to post a video, you could link what you're reacting to and then automatically institute the revenue share with that particular creator. And that would be a really cool idea. And see if you, and here's how because I love to tie things into other things. That's why this channel is called Slasher Chick, because it's this / that. I can never think of just how things operate in a vacuum. But let's say, for example, if I were trying to get into YouTube's good graces in some sort of like technical role or some sort of customer support role or something to that nature, knowing this is a big problem that they have of people misusing the copyright strike system with which to shut down channels that might be legitimately through fair use just engaging with content that they are legally allowed to do. But people do misuse this system because they know that it is inherently flawed. If you are to present a proposal for how you might solve for what is essentially a business need, right? They are potentially losing creators who go to other platforms that don't have this problem. Now, YouTube themselves, they don't get involved in the copyright dispute. Now, they have a good thing there by saying, hey, that's between the creators. We're just going to follow our process. But they got to be losing potential revenue if people leave the platform. And so I think it serves YouTube to try to solve for this. But even if YouTube decided not to solve for this, but you were interviewing for a job, you could present it as an opportunity of how to create solutions that solve things in their community or something. If you could code it, you could code an example of how it might look, etc. But I just thought that whole thing was an interesting negotiation opportunity to look at even things that are the business of YouTube that really come down to a negotiation. So I wish any small creator that is in this scenario luck, and hopefully seeing some of these larger channels having to deal with this will make YouTube want to solve for some of these things that people have been complaining about for years. But that's my life. That's what we got. So that's Tech Tuesday, where I gave a tech tool of the week and some sort of technological connection to our growth and growth mindset negotiation strategies. We're going to try this format again next Tuesday. And I'll see you again tomorrow for day 35 of 90 consecutive days of live streaming here on Slasher Chick TV. And maybe by then I will have an outro, because I still don't now. Have a great night.